New evidence in the documents case against Donald Trump in South Florida has emerged this week. Well, prosecutors knew about it, but it was just made public this week. And this evidence is absolutely some of the most damning material against Donald Trump that we have seen to date. Not just because of what it says, but also because of who it came from. Because this new evidence was provided to prosecutors by Donald Trump's attorney at the time when he was hiding the documents. Evan Corcoran gave it to them. Here's what it says. Corcoran said in recorded notes that Trump, quote, privately expressed concerns that turning over potentially classified documents in his possession after a May 2022 subpoena could result in criminal charges. Although it appears that his subsequent decision to allegedly evade the subpoena is what actually got him hit with criminal charges. The fact that Trump knew he faced criminal prosecution for possessing the top secret government documents could be used by prosecutors to establish his consciousness of guilt and would paint his efforts to allegedly confound government efforts to retrieve the documents in an even more incriminating light. In his notes, because it gets worse, folks, Corcoran said that Trump, quote, raised a question as to if we gave them additional documents now, would they, the Department of Justice, come back and say, well, why did you withhold them and try to use that as a basis for criminal liability or to make him look bad in the press? Trump would then say that it might be better to simply tell the government that there were no documents, which itself would be a crime given that there were still boxes full of classified documents still stashed at his Mar-a-Lago resort at the time. That little phrase that I had mentioned in there, consciousness of guilt. In 99% of criminal cases out there in the United States, in the history of the United States, 99.9%, I will say, if you can establish consciousness of guilt, you've just secured a conviction. And that 0.1% where you don't get the conviction, of course, is when you end up in front of a judge that is wholly and completely corrupt, like Judge Eileen Cannon. I've repeatedly said, and I'll say it again because it remains true to this moment, if this case were in front of any other judge in this country, it would have already resulted in Donald Trump's criminal conviction. We wouldn't have had these delays. The trial would have happened months and months ago. We already would have had the conviction. We already would have had the sentencing. This case is so open and shut that there is no way an impartial judge and an impartial jury could not make this result in a conviction. Absolutely not. We have consciousness of guilt. We have motive. We have him sharing classified documents. We've got sworn statements from his former effing lawyers. You have every smoking gun available in this case. And yet Judge Cannon is still out there holding hearings on the funding for Jack Smith's office. This is insanity. Hell, another one of Donald Trump's former lawyers, Vanderveen, came out this week and said Cannon is clearly in the tank for Trump. I don't know what more it's going to take for Jack Smith to go to the appellate court, which is, of course, hugely conservative down there. But even they would have to look at this and be like, okay, yeah, she's got to go. Monica Lewinsky even came out this week and echoed what I've been saying for months, and that is that Cannon needs to be impeached. Right? That's how this should end, not just with her being removed from the case, but with her being removed from the federal bench. That's how bad she is. That's how biased she is. Because this is yet another smoking gun. It's not the only one we have in this case. But you have motive, you have intent, you have consciousness of guilt. No other court in the country would have prolonged this thing this long. They all would have already convicted this man. Hey everybody, I don't know if you've noticed this, but we are closing in on a pretty major milestone here at Fair and Balanced as we approach 500,000 subscribers. But we're not there yet, and we definitely need your support. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, like and comment on the videos and share them as widely as possible.